How do you put someone on hiatus for 10 months, welcome them back into the group, and then 2 days later kick them out? We have a lot to talk about today, so welcome to an episode of K-pop Investigations, where we basically take a deep dive into a specific subject and then share our thoughts. With SM Entertainment at the center of this one, who have put fans through a roller coaster. And I mean, if fans are going through a roller coaster, you can only imagine what Riize and Seunghan are going through right now. So let's talk about that. What got Seunghan put on hiatus? What got him kicked out of the group? Boycotts, protest strikes, funeral wreaths, deleted posts, and so much more. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. So as someone who's literally been covering this for a year, it really has been a roller coaster. I'm sure you've all heard by now that it was recently announced that Seunghan would be permanently removed from Riize, and this came literally not even 2 days after it was announced that he was coming back to Riize, and that was after a 10-month hiatus. What in the world is going on? Now, a lot of people are curious, what did he do to make him go on hiatus in the first place? I'm glad you asked. We're gonna take a little trip down memory lane. I do plan on taking all my videos from the past year about Seunghan and making it into a mega compilation if you're interested in that. But for now, let's take a look at exactly what he did. So there was a lot of things being leaked. Number one, there was pictures of him and an alleged previous girlfriend. There are pictures of him in bed with a girl, kissing this girl, many pictures of him kissing this girl. There were allegations that he went to a hotel room with this girl, like people like analyzing the backgrounds, be like, actually that looks like a hotel room. There were even more disturbing allegations. I'm not even going to entertain them because they ended up not being true. But him even just in public kissing this girl, of course her face is blurred out. Now, of course, I think it's safe to say that a lot of international fans, and this has been the narrative since these pictures were released and continued to this day, a lot of international fans are going to say, what's the big deal? It doesn't matter. Like, okay, so he had a girlfriend before he debuted. He should be able to have a girlfriend after debut. Like, idols should be able to date. But there are some people who are genuinely grossed out by this. Some of the comments are saying like, this grosses me out, or like, this is actually insane for a trainee. And you know, being a trainee, some people are wondering why SM Entertainment like hasn't looked more into his past to prevent something like this. So I've definitely seen some comments saying like, you know, it's wild to see the difference between international stans reactions and Korean stans reactions. Now, of course, there are cultural differences that impact the different ways people are going to react to this. I need to stress this, as I always do. You know, not one opinion is going to be representative of an entire population. Not all K netizens are going to think the same way. Not all international stans are going to think the same way. That is the PSA for this video moving forward. Then speaking of his girlfriend, there was a screenshot going around where he's being accused of going on live streams with this alleged girlfriend. Now, these live streams would become an issue. As we can see in the screenshot, there's 4 people here, but his live streams would continue to be leaked. Basically, he would go live for like 3 or 4 people, and obviously one of those people screen recorded them and released these. There was also a point in time where the person doing all of the releasing of this stuff was saying like, SM, if you don't kick him out of Riize, I'm going to release more. And most famously, there was a live stream with TXT's Soobin, and the two were basically talking about LE SSERAFIM's Inte, which did not go over so well. This is the live stream where Soobin shows his toe middle finger. I really didn't think we would live in a world where I would be mentioning Soobin's toes so much within a year. Like, again, here we have the 2 people doing the live stream and then 3 viewers, some people 4 viewers. Basically, Seunghan says to Soobin like, you were able to MC with our Inte, and people were like, what do you mean our Inte? Are you even that close? Like, it's so weird that you're talking about her like that. I'm about to go insane. Are they siblings or something? I'm a LE SSERAFIM fan and I'm effing pissed. LOL, why does our Inte need to be dragged into that kind of conversation between these losers? These guys are major turnoffs. They themselves are stopping us from becoming fans. I feel so bad for Inte. And at this point in time, there was a mistranslation going around. So international fans were under the impression that he was bad-mouthing Inte. But again, like I mentioned, his live streams were an issue because whoever was watching was obviously screen recording and then leaking them now at that time. There was even this text message revealed where a friend is seemingly telling him to stop with the live streams. I've always been telling you to stop your live streams and not to trust your friends too much. I said that it would be so obviously uploaded online. I've told you time and time again. with Seunghan allegedly responding, "LOL, but I see that at least the one of me smoking didn't get uploaded." Spoiler alert, that video also was leaked. So here's a video of him smoking, and there was also a picture of him with a cigarette in his mouth. Here we have it. Now it seems this happened before the whole Inche thing, but anyways, just to paint a picture of why he ended up going on hiatus, all of these things were quite scandalous, right? Depending on who you ask. I mean, it didn't look good for him or anyone involved. I know TXT Subin also took a hit like with his image, though most of the heat of course was on Seunghan. So from there, like actually before it was announced that he'd be going on hiatus, SM announced that he wouldn't be participating in a pre-recording for a music show. Now they cited health issues due to his poor health conditions caused by a cold. Now fans at this point with all of this leaked material kind of put two and two together and understood that probably it wasn't a cold, and people were already predicting at this point that either he was gonna go on hiatus or get kicked out of the group. But the thing is, initially it seemed like SM was on his side and was willing to protect him and take legal action against the person doing all this leaking of his stuff, with Seunghan releasing an apology of course, but SM again announcing legal action. For Seunghan's apology, he basically says, "Due to my personal issues, I caused harm to the team at a very important and critical moment ahead of our debut and disappointed the members and staff. With the words, from now on I will prioritize the team called Riize. No hiatus yet." And SM in their statement saying, "As such, unauthorized leaks and circulations of these are clearly illegal acts. We are collecting evidence through Kwangyo 119 and separate monitoring about those who posted the photos. We are also collecting extensive evidence on actions of secondary victimization, such as circulation and reproduction," and then of course filing legal action. Keep in mind, this all happened before Riize even debuted. They debuted on September 4th, and Seunghan and SM released their statements at the end of August. But then in November, end of November, November 22nd, it was announced that he'd be going on an indefinite hiatus. Now, what does indefinite mean? It wasn't really clear because again, SM like seemingly in the beginning was like, we're taking legal action. It seemed supportive, and then even here it kind of still seems supportive. And of course, they mention issues regarding his personal life that are being leaked and circulated recently via social media and online communities. And of course, they're saying that this is Seunghan's intention. It's his intention to halt activities. This comes 2 months after he debuted with the group. Again, with the bulk of this happening before they even debuted. But they do address that these videos were taken in his personal time during his trainee days before his debut. And they were reproduced several times to cause misunderstandings through deliberate secondary editing, such as taking screenshots of a video of which the source can be specified. They go on to mention again, taking legal action. So it was really confusing for fans because it's like, okay, he's going on an indefinite hiatus, but SM seems like they have his back, like they're taking legal action, like what's going on? But then 10 months went by. And now within those 10 months, a lot happened. I mean, Riize had comebacks without him. Fans tried to boycott the group. Fans also thought there was a lot of things hinting to him actually coming back. Now, some of this was a stretch. Some of it was actually quite legit, like an official announcement that accidentally had his name, or Weverse even celebrating his birthday. Even Hansel, the ex-trainee, not the actress, hinted at the fact that he would be coming back. She posted this on her stories. Hong Seunghan is said to be coming back around the end of the year, gonna sleep now. Which is wild looking back at it now because she was technically right? I mean, but there were some people also just convinced that he was gonna continue living a normal life. Some people claimed that he was actually preparing to take a college entrance exam. Like there was this picture that people were claiming was Seunghan, and so there was speculation that he was going to school to study, essentially just leaving his idol life behind and going back to normal. But in terms of the other members of Riize, they were basically not allowed to mention him. I remember seeing this interview where they even mentioned the number of members in Riize. It was like all behind the scenes, and a manager came up and was like, "Can you not mention the number of members?" I can't actually find the interview, so if anyone knows what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, take that with a grain of salt. Like there was for sure a level of censorship when it came to Seunghan. There was another music bank event where banners were allegedly confiscated because fans, like I mentioned, were trying to boycott, were trying to pressure the company into bringing him back. A lot of international fans, like I mentioned, didn't see an issue with anything that he did. So here we see a picture, Riize 7 brings Seunghan back. It seems they weren't able to bring those into the event. Like, there were many a video that I came across in the past 10 months where fans were literally chanting at events Riize 7, just to paint the picture of how much international fans wanted Seunghan to come back, how they thought it was unfair of him to be put on an indefinite hiatus. But then we move forward to now, where it was announced that he was coming back to the group. Wizard Production, who are in charge for producing for Riize, have released a statement talking about the process behind their decision to bring him back. You know, essentially, they put their heart and soul into planning Riize's debut, and that included 7 members. So though, you know, Seunghan himself acknowledges the, you know, severity of the leaked material from his pre-debut life that he's very apologetic for, they decided to bring him back. And of course, he's learned a lot during this time and so on. Therefore, after numerous discussions with the staff and members about the direction of the group's future activities, it has been decided that Seunghan will be returning to the group. After joining the group and preparing for a certain amount of time, we plan for Seunghan to gradually participate in some of the group's scheduled activities for November and greet the fans once again. Fans were ecstatic, they were celebrating. I mean, the fans who were boycotting initially were now no longer boycotting. Riize apparently saw a surge in streams. Riize official received 1.2 million streams on Spotify yesterday, becoming their highest streaming day since September 4th. Wonbin even took to Weverse to talk about Seunghan, basically defending him, which, again, the response to is quite divisive. He basically says, I'm going to try to muster up the courage to tell you what I want to say. I think Riize must have thought a lot about whether Seunghan would come back or not and why he wasn't giving a clear answer quickly. We have also been talking with Seunghan and the company for a really long time. I hope you all know that the members thought about it together, thought about it again, and thought deeply about it. So he's saying this was a group decision. The members also put thought into this decision about him coming back, which for international fans, I'm sure was a breath of fresh air, especially considering the certain level of censorship, like I mentioned beforehand. They weren't allowed to mention him. They weren't allowed to acknowledge him. But here's some responses from some K-netizens. Again, you're going to find K-netizens who think this is horrible, who want him back. But there are some people who are louder than others, right? So here are some responses to Wonbin's post on Weverse. Leaving the fandom, bye-bye. Using the other members as a shield? Is he the leader? Wow, seriously, the fans' heads must be hurting. Wow, I seriously need to leave the fandom. Is this a joke? Why are the fans' opinions even important at this point? Sigh. Seriously, the timing is so... He's too much to the members and the fans. Why do they need to go this far? Seriously, why is Hong Seunghan this important? This is not it. Seriously, who on earth is Hong Seunghan? This is an age-old method where they think if a member speaks up, stans will just be like, okay, sure, and shut up about things, lol. How tacky of them. They're really lagging behind times if they think it'll work now. Seeing the employees post on Blind and this, you can totally see that the company ordered him to write this. They must think fans are such pushovers, lol. This sort of thing doesn't work anymore. So people were accusing SM of using the members to try to sway public opinion. Some people were even straight up saying, like, why do the members' opinions even matter? Okay, this comment did not age well. This is from literally 2 days ago. The response is crazy now, but I think in the long run, this is a good decision if it shows fans that the company won't listen to every ridiculous request they have. Not so much. The post has since been deleted. But you know, aside from the massive backlash, from the 1,000 funeral wreaths sent to SM asking for Seunghan to be kicked out, from the many fans saying that this is a bad decision, everything was looking pretty good. Like, I guess there was this kind of feeling that things were locked in. He's back, his position is officially safe. Like, SM's really showing fans that, like, they're not going to bend to their every want and need. And then the unthinkable happened. I mean, it's shocking in so many ways because it literally came 2 days after. It came after a 10-month hiatus. Like, you know, again, the whole beginning of this video paints a huge picture that makes this announcement all the more shocking. But essentially the same people who announced that he'd be coming back were now announcing that he's leaving the group. They basically start off by apologizing for their own position. We made this decision after debating it for a long time because we thought that if Seunghan returned after reflecting on his past wrongdoings and Riize showed another level of growth as a group, we would be able to give the artists and fans greater joy. But at the end of the day, they took into account the backlash. We ruminated carefully on each and every one of the opinions and responses sent in by fans, and we realized that our decision had actually hurt fans more and caused them greater confusion instead. But they're also mentioning that Seunghan expressed that he wanted to leave the group as well. Out of respect for the artist's decision, we are announcing Seunghan's departure from Riize instead of his joining the group. We will support Seunghan in the future so that he can showcase his talents and follow his dreams. They basically apologize, all that jazz. As for, Seunghan wanting to leave the group, I feel like we've heard this before. Anytime there's like a big scandal, it's usually the group member involved in that scandal who's like, I want to leave the group to protect the group. And for Seunghan, he actually wrote a letter to fans saying goodbye. He acknowledges, the announcement of his return and how fans took that quite seriously. And I am too aware of the seriousness of the current situation. After pondering deeply whether I've been thinking only of myself too much, whether I'm causing too much harm to the members in the company, and whether it's really okay for me to be part of Riize, who should be loved, I only felt worried and apologetic. So I think that my leaving the group is the right path for everyone. He doesn't want to cause any more hurt or confusion to fans, and he doesn't want to harm the members anymore, or the company. Does SM care when they hurt their artists? Allegedly don't sue. So he's both sorry and thankful to everyone who cheered him on, and he'll be cheering on Riize. I will sincerely cheer on Riize, whom I love, while hoping that they will receive more love in the future. So, let's talk about that. When somebody says, I want to leave the group to protect the group, is it really that? I'm sure that individual genuinely wants the best for their group, but I've seen a lot of people being like, no, he left on his own accord. SM has nothing to do with this. I don't think you can just leave a group because you want to leave a group. There are contracts in place. A company is not going to let you go unless they want to let you go, if that makes sense. We've seen idols literally sue SM to get out of their contracts, and SM's like, no, you're stuck here forever. And again, this is just speculation and mixed with opinion. But of course, I think if someone says, I'm leaving the group to protect the group, we've seen it before. We see it all the time. I think it's more of a humble thing to say. But if a company doesn't want to let you go, they will latch onto you and hold on to you and sue you so that you can't leave. So for me, this is just a polite way to be, it shows that you're humble. Does that make sense? It's an ultimate sacrifice, but also contractually, the company is very much on board, and it wouldn't surprise me if the company is very much is definitely pushed in that direction, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it. But needless to say, international fans reacted quite negatively to this announcement. It has been 2 days. Poor boy, he wanted to leave originally, but the company and members insisted he rejoined, only for people to rip him to absolute shreds in the span of 2 days. Praying for his mental health and hope he succeeds in the future. All because bro had a girlfriend. I can't with people. This is effing ridiculous. This is cruelty. I can't even begin to imagine the heartbreak. SM is genuinely a disgusting company, encouraging bullying and not even waiting 2 days to make this decision. This sends such a disturbing message to fans. On that note, it's really again, it's curious, they can explain in these long posts, we thought about it for a long time, we took into consideration fans' opinions. First of all, a lot of people are saying that they didn't consider international stan opinions, because if they did, he wouldn't have gotten kicked out. This is actually something I mentioned in earlier videos. 10 months ago I mentioned, if they took into account international stan opinions, this wouldn't have happened. This would have never been a thing. I'm not even a fan, but damn, gotta feel bad for the guy. We didn't even get to see him with Riize. Sending funeral wreaths for something a 20-year-old supposedly did is psychopathic behavior. But Lucas gets to have a solo career. SM truly has to be the worst company in K-pop. What the hell? There are a lot of people thinking he might end up going solo as well. And I hope SM knows that they've truly set a dangerous precedent for how fans can act and be rewarded when they don't agree with literally anything. Continuing a legacy of failing to protect your artists? Congratulations. Never in the history of K-pop have I ever seen a company announce an idol's return from hiatus only to kick him out literally a day after. SM has definitely been quite messy in the past with this. If we remember with Lucas, he was put on hiatus for 2 years and then kicked out. But it's definitely wild to see someone put on hiatus for almost a year and then announced to be coming back and then kicked out. That is a roller coaster. That is wild. That's my opinion. But of course, this had been something that Korean fans had been protesting. They sent funeral wreaths. Whereas before people would just send good old protest trucks, now fans start sending funeral wreaths when they want to protest something. And it seems Seunghan even saw those funeral wreaths, because there's this clip going around that is allegedly Seunghan reacting to all of the funeral wreaths that it seems SM just left out there. There's some pictures of, again, allegedly Seunghan in front of the funeral wreaths. I definitely did see a lot of tweets of some fans like trying to take them down. On that note of protest trucks, however, it does seem that fans were planning 28 protest trucks. They were supposed to run from October 14th to October 18th, but I'm assuming it's since been canceled. But like at this point, it's literally the battle of protest trucks / protest wreaths, because there were trucks sent in support of OT7 Riize. The truck has arrived in front of SM. This is the original message Riize wanted to tell you, but we're sorry, Seunghan, for being too late. We're sorry we couldn't protect you again. But this whole protesting thing, like, you know, sending trucks is one thing that a lot of people think is just a waste of time and money, but sending funeral wreaths is a totally different ballpark, right? And now these flowers can also be used as a celebration, but you know, through context, we're not really thinking that these people saying, you know, Hong Seunghan out is like a celebration. So this has brought up the conversation of the ethics behind doing this, especially when the person is very much alive. Sending idols funeral wreaths to make them withdraw is honestly creepy. The idea is that consumers can demand their rights just because they spend money is genuinely frightening. The mindset that spending money gives someone the right to treat others poorly is concerning. While it's completely valid for individuals to boycott and protest if they want to withdraw support, sending hundreds of condolence flower arrangements to a single person crosses a serious line. Plus, using condolence flowers, typically a symbol of mourning, is seriously misusing the purpose of wreaths. One of the responses to this is, the real creepy thing here is the company embracing a problematic idol. Do you think the company will do anything if we had a pretty protest? It's better to be bizarre than acting like fools. This is only considered weird because female fans are the ones doing it. International fans have since called for a boycott. Will not be supporting streaming listing to Riize anymore. I can't support what's going on. Hashtag SM supports bullying. I've definitely seen this in my comment section as well. I mean, the difference between 2 days when I first made the announcement, well, you know, I didn't make the announcement, I relayed the announcement news. When I first talked about him coming back to Riize, I saw so many comments basically being like, oh, I can stand again. Oh, I'm adding their music back to my playlist. You know, everything along those lines. And then 2 days later, oh, well, I'm unstanding. And now the boycott is nothing new. I mean, since he was put on indefinite hiatus, fans have been calling for a boycott. But the thing is, if not everyone is on board, it's obviously not going to work. So some people have outlined exactly how to boycott. Basically, ignore, unfollow, or block. Don't purchase anything. Don't stream. Do not interact. Nothing of the sort. And boycotting can be hard for a group that is currently active, that you love all the other members. I mean, you love all members, but you love the current members of the group and you don't want them to suffer. But by boycotting them, you might make them suffer, but you want to send a message to the company anyways. But really the only way to get SM to do anything, and I mean, Korean stans, what did they do? Did they hit SM where it hurts with their money? It's been literally 2 days. They literally just used their words and SM caved, right? So imagine if international stans used their money. It's just a thought to ponder. And this time around, it does seem that the boycott is making a bit of a dent, because a lot of fan sites have been closing. Riize have also been losing a lot of followers. Riize's Twitter X account has lost more than 14,000 followers following Seunghan's departure from the group. I took a screenshot of their Instagram account actually last night to see how many followers they lost. They had 4.1 million last night. So let's take a look. Well, they have 4 million. So they lost 100,000 since I took only a screenshot last night. Now it's been 2 days. How much did they have before? Just to clarify, it could be up to 100,000. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean 100,000, but then again, like I said, it's been 2 days. I wonder if anyone has been keeping track. I even saw this petition going around. It has almost 150,000 followers. It's titled, this is its title, "We want Seunghan back!" Exclamation mark. Rises 7! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation. Wait a minute, I want to see this. Oh my fucking god. Now, his removal from the group due to backlash has definitely sparked a lot of conversations about parasocial relationships, about not seeing idols as humans. Parasocialism being a key part of idol marketing will be the death of some of the most talented artists in this industry. Selling these artists as products that crazed fans can feel as though they can do anything they want to is truly sickening to watch. What I hate about the K-pop industry is that nobody seems to be advocating for idols' rights and freedoms. Very little to no support and solidarity from labels, artists, or any industry people. There should be more conversations about these issues rather than pandering to fans. This has led to, general conversations as well about how most idols are probably in relationships, have probably more experience than you think. There's this one tweet that I saw going around. It basically says, okay, all the idols who have had sex, please leave. And I've seen so many quote tweets and like people sharing the screenshot. So like, who's going to perform then? Your idols will never marry you and your stalkerish possessive behavior. My goodness. The craziest part about all this, probably 90% of idols are in relationships. You just don't know about it. They're all grown adults who are insanely attractive and have the world at their feet. And if you think they aren't seeing people, you need to wake up. I saw a discussion on it on Reddit. r/Kpop Thoughts by Puka. Big four agencies need to make unified, solid, and unchanging statements regarding idol relationship scandals, or else nothing is ever going to change. But that's another thing, because that's profitable as hell. If someone is like a sexless, perfect boyfriend material being, that is so profitable. But even within the international audience, and I'm convinced of this, there are so many people who would be secretly heartbroken that their idols are dating. And maybe that's a hot take, I don't know. But if it wasn't profitable, they just wouldn't do it. Do you know what I mean? I guess some agencies don't take the full on no dating at all approach and allow dating behind the scenes. The fact that I have to use the word allow there is a human rights violation in itself. But people shouldn't have to hide doing normal human things, let alone shame in doing so. It's 2024, hello. But in order for there to be an actual cultural shift within the K-pop sphere, the big dogs of the industry need to make a unified statement that has the same wording across the board. Some lesser known agencies may have this approach already, but in order for there to be impact on the industry as a whole, big names need to let their stance be known. Of course, there will still be some backlash from parasocials, but if there's a unified message of, if you keep violating the personal lives of our artists, you will be hearing from our lawyers, it will at least be better than just letting things stay as they are, because it's pretty miserable as it stands. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. I know this is a long shot and there's probably like a 50-50 chance it actually makes a difference, but I honestly can't think of anything else that would have enough of an impact for this behavior to stop being accepted as the norm in the K-pop world. Again, I just think it's too profitable. Like, if you have just like this sexless, perfect human being in front of you, you're more likely to spend those thousands of dollars on those K-pop albums to get into a fan sign, right? Like, oh my God, you're talking to your bias. But if your bias is a girlfriend, there's less of an allure. And I'm not saying that from personal opinion, because I don't want to talk to I never want to talk to my idols. I've literally bought albums and like put my friend's name in the fan sign, signing up for that, because I'm like, I don't know what I would want. I don't want to talk to them. I don't know what I would want to say. But there's probably a lot of people who, if their idols had girlfriends, maybe they wouldn't want to spend that money. Do you know what? I just think it's profitable. That's my main point here. So while all this was happening, it seems that Riize themselves were in Madrid. And then upon their return, people noticed that their faces were covered up. They were wearing masks and hats. So we can't really see that they were sad or anything, but a lot of people were implying or inferring that they probably were quite upset with everything going on. So here are just some clips of them, again, with like their entire faces covered. I've genuinely never seen the members look so defeated. Sohee, Wonbin, and Seunghan never looking up and hiding their faces from the cameras. Taro, Eunseok, and Anton using their beanie or hair to cover their eyes. I feel sick. Especially after it's been revealed by Wonbin in his now deleted post that the members all discussed this together. Some people are also saying, I wouldn't want to have fans like you. Like, it would be so horrible to have to continue in a group knowing that like fans are dictating like the future of this group. So of course, let me know your thoughts about everything in the comments. As for me, I hate like the prospect of what ifs, and if like I would love for everyone to be able to live out their dreams. The prospect of what if is debilitating. Like, of course, it's going to affect your mental health if you almost end up in a group and you don't, and then you see that group everywhere. That group is exploding, is succeeding so much. And then to add in being in that group, whether it's for 2 months, whether it's for a couple of years, actually, I'm really curious what they were thinking. Like, what happened in 2 days? Like, what possibly could happen in 2 days? maybe a week, maybe a month, but like 2 days is nothing. 2 days is definitely not enough time to let anything simmer. Well, I take that back. They're losing a lot of followers from the international side. 2 days is enough to send a message, but like, and it's not that I don't understand that there are cultural differences. Of course I understand that there are cultural differences. This is literally the basis of what I talk about every day. There are inevitably going to be things that international stands accept and that just aren't acceptable in Korea. But when you have a group that, from what I understand, is like globally promoted, if that makes sense. Like, I do wonder where companies want to draw the line between appeasing their Korean fan base and appeasing their international fan base. But at the same time, I think there's also ways that this could have been handled to like lessen the blow. If you hadn't have waited 10 months, if you like, do you know what I mean? Sometimes taking just a little break and then moving on like nothing ever happened. Yeah, there's gonna be people who are upset, but people will forget about it. No, people remember everything. I still see like comments on specific idols who went on hiatus and then came back due to specific scandals. It still gets brought up. But yeah, I think that's basically it for today's video. There's a lot to talk about. Let me know if you want me to make like a mega compilation of my videos from the past year of everything we've ever talked about with Seunghan, including the second half of this video. I think that could be cool. I've definitely like changed a lot. Like, I will start the video off like looking very different, but again, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments. No, I'm not done. Boycotts. Boycotts are so important because like, but you have to pull through. Like, you can't just half-ass these boycotts. You have to follow Orbits. Orbits had it down pat. Orbits succeeded in their boycotts. Like, you have to be strong. You have to have a strong front. You have to have everyone on board. Because at the end of the day, if SM is messy enough to announce someone is coming back to a group only for 2 days later to announce that they're being kicked out of the group, while willingly leaving the group to protect the group, then they might be messy enough to bring him back. Do you know what I mean? I just think give him like a 1-month hiatus, have him come back. So much backlash, protest trucks. Funeral wreaths weren't a thing 10 months ago. We could have saved the flowers. Boycotts are effective. You just have to pull through. Like, you have to go through with it, actually. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me on this video. These are the lovely individuals who help support my channel on a monthly basis. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. As for me, I'm gonna get going, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye.